You might recall about 3 weeks ago, perhaps, I had a chat to Melbourne-based artist Damon Kowalski. At the time, Damon was in Portland, using the facilities at Portland Bay Press to create a series of works, which he was then going to take overseas to Guernsey to be part of an exhibition marking the 250th anniversary of the birth of British painter William Turner. And look, by the magic of international communications and Zoom calls, Damon is joining us now from Guernsey this morning. Damon, good morning to you.
Good morning, or good evening even.
Indeed. It's a bit of a time warp, isn't it, talking to you the day before for us, for you. It's very confusing. Anyway, we've linked up and that's great. I'm thrilled that it's working. Can you just give us a quick weather report before we talk about what you're doing there?
Yeah, so it's spring, which means it's quite cold outside, but they've been glorious sunny days, and I think I got a little bit of sunburnt while walking in the west coast of Guernsey this afternoon. So
right. Wow. That seems quite unusual to get sunburnt in the UK, I've got to say, but there you go. It's possible. So look, for people who missed this, just give us a quick background. So you're a part of this of a project. It's a pretty amazing project. Just remind us, I guess, what it is and how you came to be a part of this as well.
Yeah, so in 1832, the English painter William Turner came to Guernsey and made a sketchbook, which is now at the Tate in London. And Art for Guernsey was aware of Turner's visit and invited 4 contemporary artists from the UK and Australia to come and follow in Turner's footsteps, go to the places he went, draw the things he drew, and then make contemporary work that responds to the place and also the sketches that Turner made 190 years ago.
So quite literally to follow in his footsteps. But I mean, apart from that, was it very much just up to you to do whatever you wanted to do?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. What I did when I got here was I went to the places, because about 16 places that Turner actually drew at have been identified from looking at his sketches and working out the geography and the architecture and the places. So I went to all those places and made drawings. And then because I was here for 3 weeks last year, I also went as I wished around the island. And the work in this exhibition is a mix of places that Turner would have seen and things that Turner couldn't have seen because they didn't exist at that time.
And look, the local connection to all this is that you then created this work in Portland, which is where we spoke, I think, at Portland Bay Press.
Yeah, so I travel down to Portland Bay Press about once a year, and all the work that's here in Guernsey was printed at Portland Bay Press in January and February of this year.
Yeah. So when we spoke, you were, I think, midway through that process. How did it all turn out? Did everything go to plan, and did all the equipment work as required?
Well, the equipment all worked. I produced 20 etchings and I lost one. Oh. One didn't make the final cut. So I think 19 out of 20 was not a bad rate. I mean, it's certainly better than you get when you're cooking pancakes.
Was there any sort of expectation as to how much work, though, you would create to bring to this exhibition?
There wasn't, but having been here last year and seeing the space, which is huge, I knew that I'd need quite a lot of work to have a presence in the gallery. Also, because a lot of my work is around A4 size, I knew that it could get lost in large walls, whereas by having 19 or 20 works, it had a presence. Also, there's honestly so many incredible things to see on this island, so it made sense to capture as many different scenes as possible. So
what, you ended up taking 19 works then to exhibit at this show?
Well, that was the 19 etchings, and then there was about a half dozen other drawings because I finished the printing early and then needed something to do, so went back to the studio and produced a few more drawings.
Right, okay. Now, is it all up then? Is the exhibition open?
Yes, and in fact tonight was the launch of the exhibition. There were a few hundred people came through,
right. And
then the exhibition will be here until the 21st of June. So it's got a 3-month run across the northern summer, which is, of course, the height of the tourist season. So it's a really good opportunity for people to come to Guernsey and see some art.
Yeah, right. Now, if anyone wants to pop across from the southwest, yeah, feel free. What are the other works like, the other artists who are involved in this?
Yes, so there's three UK-based artists, Charlie McFarley, who is primarily a street artist, so this is he's bringing work into the gallery space for this show. Gideon Summerfield, who works with Pastel, who's based in London, and then Merlyn Chesterman, who also does printmaking but using woodblock, and she's based out in Devon.
Okay. And is anybody, because, I mean, when we think of Turner's works, I suppose, certainly the image that pops into my head is of these sort of very big pieces and sort of, just the colours and sort of a sort of smudginess or a fogginess. I don't know if that's a good way to describe it. But, I mean, you've all had your own take on that, I suppose. I mean, has anyone been inspired directly by his style, or is it more just about being inspired by the things that he saw, that he then interpreted however he wanted to?
Yeah, I mean, the one I would say that has done that is Gideon. He's very much inspired by Turner's ability to capture things really quickly and with almost minimal materials. But whereas Turner's tonality is often quite dull, and part of that is because the pigments he used were not fast and have faded, Gideon's work is really quite luscious and rich and bright. So perhaps if we'd seen Turner's stuff 200 years ago, it would have had that same energy, but of course with the passing of time we now think of Turner as far more subdued.
Yeah, right. So look, if anybody is in Guernsey then over the next, how long is the exhibition on for?
Until the 21st of June.
Okay, so if anyone's there over that next couple of months, pop into the gallery and have a look and see that sort of local connection, I suppose. But look, if people can't get there, there is some good news. You have secured, I think, a local exhibition, certainly for your part of this show.
Yes, so very happily, the F Project will be exhibiting this work through the month of October this year. So if you're in Warrnambool, please come along and see it.
All right, look, we'll talk again when that happens, I'm sure. How long are you there for as well this time, Damon?
I'll be here 8 days, so I arrived on Sunday. I'm heading back to the UK on Monday, and then I'll be back in Australia at the start of April, so a month in the north.
Yeah, very nice. And do you have any other plans while you're there? Do you get to play tourists while you're there this time?
I will. I'll have a few days in Exeter. I believe they have a wonderful cathedral, and then time in Devon and Somerset before heading back to London.
Okay, with sketchbook in hand, do you sort of...
Absolutely,
right.
Absolutely. Everywhere I go, I have a sketchbook, and even today there was the exhibition in the evening, obviously, but I spent a couple hours outside drawing places that I hadn't been able to draw last time I was here.
Yeah, very nice. Look, I've never had the pleasure of visiting Guernsey. Is it easy to get there?
Relatively. I mean, it's certainly easier than it was for Turner.
Yeah.
There's regular flights out of London and other cities in the UK. I think they have flights occasionally from Europe, but certainly you fly into London and then it's 1 hour in a small prop plane across the channel and you're in Guernsey.
Right, okay. There's probably like a boat is there as well, I imagine, that you can use to get there. Perhaps.
There is a ferry, and depending on the sea, depends how pleasurable that journey from Portsmouth is.
I can imagine. Excellent. David, thank you. Thanks for taking the time to have a chat to us as well from Guernsey this morning. It's been nice being able to catch up with you just to hear how this all went, and look forward to talking when you're back in Warrnambool at the F Project a bit later this year.
Look forward to it, Jeremy.
Indeed. Thanks again. Talk to you soon. David Kowalski there, who is, was in Portland earlier this year, creating some works which are now on show in Guernsey for the next couple of months as a part of that exhibition marking the 250th anniversary of the birth of British painter William Turner. And look, if you can't get there to see it, you can wait and see it at the F Project Gallery here in Warrnambool a bit later this year, 29th of September through to the 26th of October. Don't worry, we will remind you about that before that happens.